Nvidia and the rest of the high-flying Mag 7 stocks have been hit really hard over the past few weeks. There's a truth about these 7 stocks that I've been saying for a long time, and it's something that most people here on YouTube will not tell you. I'm going to share with you what all of this means for you and your stock portfolio. Now, guys, I've been saying on this channel for a long time, when something's flying high and irrationally jumping, they're going to be the first ones that are going to fall the hardest. Now, I'm going to show you guys these stats right here. This is the NASDAQ 100 down 10.79% since July 10th peak. Okay, so a mere 2 months ago. The S&P 500 down 3.73%. So, as I told in many videos, the NASDAQ 100 high-tech boom is down almost 3 times more than the S&P 500. Now, these in between are the Mag 7 stocks. The best one, Apple, only down 5%, Meta only down 6%. The rest of them are down significantly higher than QQQ and the NASDAQ. The worst one, Nvidia. Now, guys, along the way going up, great stocks, we're going to have big fluctuations. That in and of itself should not scare you. What should scare you is when price and value are so egregiously disconnected. We look at a company like Nvidia, a $3 trillion company selling for 80 or 100 times profit and free cash flow. Guys, it's one thing of a $3 billion company that's growing, gaining market share, has a lot of runway to go, keeps growing at these rates. How much more runway does Nvidia have as a $3 trillion market cap business? Now, don't get me wrong. Back 25 years ago, Microsoft, Cisco were hitting $500 billion valuations, and now Microsoft's at $3 trillion. But guys, if you do the math on 6x over 25 years, it might scare you how little return that is. A stock going up 6x in 25 years is only a 7% annualized return. 7%. You're better off with the stock market essentially at that point. Yes, Microsoft went from $500 billion market cap to over $3 trillion. But in that time, it also went down to $120, $130 billion market cap. These are the things we see as markets really skyrocket. Now, here's Nvidia right here. Guys, $140 peak on June 20th. Here are the 8 pillars to the company. Guys, everything here basically screams amazing company. High return on invested capital. Not buying back a ton of shares, which I like a lot. Cash flow growth in the last 5 years, $41.8 billion. Net income growth, almost $50 billion. Revenue growth, $83 billion. Very little debt. 5-year PE, 5-year price to free cash flow. Now, guys, in the last 5 years, its profit and free cash flow has absolutely skyrocketed. So this is a little misleading. But then you look at the price of free cash flow. I was wrong. 56 and 50 times PE and price of free cash flow in the last year. Which, by the way, if they're still going to grow their free cash flow and profit 30, 40, 50% for 5 or 8 years, this might be okay. The question we have to ask ourselves is this a permanent plateau for the company? Are they only going to go up from here? I don't know. And whenever you're assessing any sort of investment, you have to decide for yourself, where are we in this business cycle for this company? All of these other companies, apart from Tesla, are very, very established. Yeah, Nvidia's established, but with the revenue for Google, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, so high, they're ingrained in our lives. The competitors that have come out for these guys have come out. These guys are much more stable. Nvidia was first to market, absolutely crushed it with their chips. There is zero denying that. Anybody who does is just completely negative Nelly. But it's not negative to sit there and question, okay, will there be more competitors? Are they the only chip maker for the AI space? Guys, whenever there's high margin in anything, you're going to get a lot of people gravitating towards it. And the thing you have with Nvidia is, it's not just that you have people gravitating towards it and competitors coming up. Those competitors are already well-established businesses. That's what you have to remember here. With Microsoft, with Amazon, with Apple, with Google, with Meta, who's competing with these guys? The people who've tried to compete have already tried to compete. Google's created its own Drive, and I don't think that even comes close to competing with Microsoft Excel and Word and their OneDrive component of softwares. That's what I sit there and say when I sit there and look at Nvidia. There is zero, I want to be very, very clear. There's zero denying that Nvidia is not awesome. Go look at my past videos about Nvidia. Even before the stock went up 1,000%. I sat there and said, back in the 90s, when I was the nerd building computers, we loved Nvidia graphics chips. That was absolutely, Nvidia is the number one. And that was 5-6 years into their business existence. And I was like, this company is incredible. I didn't own the stock because I still thought it was overpriced. And clearly it hit a run here that not many people saw. But you have to ask these questions. Whenever you're investing, the question isn't just, does this company have an incredible future ahead of it? Is what price are you paying for that future? These are the conversations that I see every single day in our community that I encourage you to have. Because out there, when you're talking about these things, you don't just want to talk to people who are rah, rah, rah on your side. You need to get other angles. And you've noticed that if you go to everythingmoney.com, we only have a limited number of these daily spots for our community and software. And the reason for that is the software as it exists today currently includes everything we have to offer for retirement, real estate, and stocks. We now have 4 YouTube channels, and behind the scenes, we're making some big changes. We just came back from a great convention in Dallas where we're talking about, and we have renewed excitement for growing these channels even further. As we expand, though, we have to make these changes, and the offers that we have are going to be separated. And that current offer of everything is absolutely going to go away very soon. You may remember when we first started this, I built the software for myself, and I was using it on this computer, and people would type, how do I get your software? And I said, you can't get it. It's an expensive data feed, etc. But it got us to sit there and say, wait a second, people want the software, let's give it to them. And as the community has grown, as the channel has grown, it's becoming less about me and more about how I can better serve you and the community members who use the software. Now, the good news is these changes haven't been made yet, but we're working on them every single day. So if you join today, you'll be grandfathered in for life with all the data and all the tools we have made. You'll get all of it, and you will stay in your pricing tier forever. So if you're really serious about making better financial decisions, probably increasing your returns, but more importantly, sleeping better at night and making less irrational emotional decisions, click on the link in the description below to get access to our software before we make these changes. And I'm very confident it'll be the best decision you've made all year. Now, for the Mag 7 going forward, guys, I look at the valuations. Let's actually go put, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put it here in our 8-pillar portfolio. So I've put all these companies into our 8-pillar portfolio. This assumes they're all equal weighted. Guys, look, great ROIC, great revenue growth, great net income growth, shares outstanding coming down. Look at the cash flow growth. Overall, $186 billion increase in cash flow versus $37 billion increase in net income. But guys, as a portfolio, massively overpriced. As a portfolio, they're massively overpriced. Current PE, 34. Current price of free cash flow, 38.7. Guys, at the end of the day, every investment is the present value of all your future cash flows. You look at this, and this allows you to look at your portfolio as one company. You put it all in here, and what's coming soon is being able to weight them based on the number of shares you have. But assuming they're all equal weighted in here, it's just an expensive company. Yes, it does amazing revenue, 1.9 trillion. It has amazing market cap, 15 trillion. All great parameters here. But if you overpay for a good thing, it ends up not being a good investment. And I'm here to try to change the way in which you think, to try to immerse yourself and brainwash yourself into realizing that when you buy something, your returns are going to be based on that price you pay. Now, guys, another high-flying speculative idea here. Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin has been crazy, but the interesting thing about Bitcoin is, go look at the chart over the last 3 years. It's pretty much flat in the last 3 years. Now, that doesn't mean it should be crapped on because of that reason. But just like Amazon's actually down over the last 3 years. It's amazing that the big gains of before, and every study has shown this, that the year to year, anything that kills it or does poorly is not likely to continue on the next year. It's not going to be the biggest leader, not going to be the biggest loser. We go in and out of our excitement for things. But you look at Bitcoin and crypto. What's the intrinsic value there? Well, Paul, it's rare and all this stuff. Okay, well, I can take a dump in a box, and that's the only box of my shit in the entire world. Does that make it valuable? No. You have to have utility. You have to have so many other things that matter to just increase value. Now, I don't think crypto in its current state will be successful in its current purpose and state. Now, is it becoming more and more accepted by other countries? Sure. But I'm very active in real estate. And I've heard people say, Paul, crypto's great for real estate. It is. I own 1,000 units and I've never had anybody approach me saying, can I buy your property in crypto? And frankly, if somebody did, I'd say, fine, by me. And the second I got it, I'd just sell it. It doesn't matter to me if it's being bought in crypto or not. But it's ironic to me that everybody talks about crypto as being this differentiator from fiat money, yet we value crypto in the exact fiat money that we criticize. That's just a little odd to me. Now, Bitcoin ETFs. Temporarily, investors have yanked $1.2 billion in the last 8 days. Why? News follows the stock price. News follows the asset price. Crypto has gone from a peak of 70,000 down to 54. A lot of volatility. What do people say? The same people who said, I love this thing. It's great. I'm sticking with it forever. That never happens. That never, ever happens. The average person goes in and out based on where the price goes. And lately, we've had a big price surge. Well, actually, lately, we've had a big price drop, almost about 20% or more on crypto, on Bitcoin. And over the last 3 years, it's been flat. But it had a big surge in the last year and a half. Just watch these things. These are the things I want you to remember going forward. Now, guys, if you want to see the 20 stocks that I'm buying when the market crashes, watch this next video. I'll see you in the community. Thank you for your time.